Hello everyone, welcome to Pro Beauty Live, Pro Live. We're in kind of like week 12 of shows that we've been doing for the community over the last 3 months since lockdown. This week we've been looking at the nail community and nail technicians in general, and bringing different nail technicians and experts from around the world as well as India to kind of join in and talk about the technicalities of doing good nails, also discussing health and safety issues specifically to the nail community. Today we're really excited to have the Gurpreet Seble from Nail Spa joining us, and she's really going to be talking about the specifics of, one sec, she's there. Hope you've been enjoying the kind of content we've been putting together over the last few months for you guys. Keeping you connected, engaged, etc. while we're going through this sort of tough phase. Bit of good news for the Maharashtra, Mumbai, Pune community is that we've just got news today that salons can open up for hair services at least from Sunday. So that's great. It's a bright thing for the community. It's been a lot of effort by the industry and salon community and brands, across the country, really fighting to get salons opened. And we've got the good news that from Sunday, we're all set to go. Now it's really up to the various salons across Maharashtra to get their team trained up, and make sure they're ready to go from whenever they want to start from Sunday onwards, which is a great. It's a great thing for the community, so that we can get going, generating revenue, get customers back in, etc. And really another small step in getting back on our feet. So what we're going to be talking about today with Gurpreet while she logs in is what impact is what impact is lockdown having on the nail community, the nail industry. What are the kind of adaptations they're going to need to do as we get back slowly, to kind of where we were pre-lockdown, and then also getting back to basics actually. So really talking also about some of the kind of queries you may have with regards to different products and the difference between products, differences between brands, and some technical questions around procedures. So it's a great opportunity to talk to Gurpreet, who essentially is the founder of the nail industry in India, and been around almost 20 years, since the early 2000s when she moved from Canada to what was a 6-month sabbatical that turned into being a lifetime journey now back in India, helping grow and develop the nail community. So do get your thinking hats, start putting questions together for us, and I'm going to then be firing them off to Gurpreet as she's live with us. So while she's coming back in, what she was kind of talking about was that we have seen,
Yay, there we are. What would we do without Joburg?
Can you put your volume up a little bit? Is that possible?
Yeah.
Or is it on?
Is it better? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I think, I'm just a bit deaf. I'll just keep coming closer to the screen.
So, your question was that the last part was that, that the brands are now coming to the rescue. So, yes, the nail industry post-COVID, the brands will have to buck up and pull up the industry. I think we have a huge responsibility on our shoulders.
And then, and it is tough. I mean, it's been tough even after opening up. It's tough. So we know salons around the country, Bangalore, even Goa, Chennai, Hyderabad, Punjab, etc. Kolkata said, okay, the first couple of weeks have been great, but then it's been pretty slow. And obviously, hair services will always, it's still about 70% of salon business in India. Then makeup, then the other stuff where nails come in. What's kind of happening in the nail segment at the moment? Because I know obviously everyone's going to go for their haircuts and their waxing and all that stuff, but what kind of feedback are you getting from the nail community at the moment, the nail bars that have opened up, salons that have nail services?
They are all facing a huge slowdown, that's for sure. I think a good fair number to quote is 20 to 30% business. That's the best I've heard. I haven't, as in haircuts, you saw the initial, the lineups or the people, because it was overdue for everybody. Nails was also overdue for everybody, but we didn't see those lineups. We didn't see that kind of a demand. It was very slow. And, in India, because we've got different kinds of, I think the Indian consumer is different, if I can say that. Because North America, we have a culture of nails, right? It's during recession in North America, and I've seen many while living there, coffee and nails never went down. So nails is because those who are working, they want the groomed look. Those who are looking for a job want to be job ready and look groomed. Those who are at home, that's the only feel good factor, hair and nails. That's why Dubai opened hair and nails 2 months ago. They didn't open the entire services, right? So there is a big difference in our perception of when to get nails done, right? So that part, and I'll tell you, there are different kinds of clients here. When you come, think about it as grooming, there are those who are the diehards, and they will not do without it. It's a must-have, must-do, right? And then there is the second group that thinks that, yes, it's a good thing to have, it looks good, feels good, but it's not that important, And then there is another part that says, okay, it's party time, wedding time, birthday time, anniversary time. Okay, let's go get nails done. They'll get beautiful set of enhancements, but it's just going to last as long as the event and the 2-3 weeks following. They may come back for it, they may get hooked on it, and they may not. So the culture difference that we have is that the new generation that's coming along, they are the ones who are going to create this industry with the nail business, because they are born into it. They've seen it as little kids. You know how it is when we see it. But in North America, it's already there. It's old, and it's 40 some years, and it's happening.
There has been a slowdown though, right, in terms of customers going in asking for nails at the moment across India?
Absolutely. Absolute slowdown. I hear from a lot of people, and nobody is really happy with the business right now. But I think no business is happy with their turnover right now, not just nails.
Yeah, true.
It's the entire economy.
And then so while kind of business is coming back and we're getting out of this lockdown phase, what are the kind of things and changes that technicians now have to do to look after customers, really?
Oh, I'm so happy you asked that question. These guys were really untouchable. They were like demanding left, right, and center. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. When you are in demand, you're in demand. Sorry, it's like Shah Rukh Khan. When he becomes famous, he's going to ask for a bomb, right? It's the same way with any industry. You become a sous chef and you become a super chef, and then you want more money because you put in the time, So that was a time that the demand was high, the supply was low, everybody wanted the super good guys. So now I feel all the nail technicians, I feel there's a big change, not just the ones that we have. I'm in touch with hundreds of them. And I make it a point to call a few every day, not just my techs. It's people I haven't met for years who came to my school maybe 10 years ago, just to find out how they're doing. There's a huge change of attitude. And that attitude of gratitude has stepped in. This is what I like now, that they all are feeling that having a job is a privilege. To work and to be able to get a salary or any wages, then of course the best ones are in demand. Then the good ones might have left and gone home, and then they've been replaced. There's a lot going on. Now, these, I feel sorry for them. The ones who are working have to work with all the PPE stuff in this 43, 45 degrees. But it's okay. I mean, we were already wearing the masks and the gloves. So the new thing is the gown and the shield and the divider between the client and us. So it's not that big a deal for nail techs as it is for other categories, because the masks and gloves were already there, which is the main thing that people complain about. So now you have to see which nail tech is going to give the best results. Now you have to look at them. They have to perform like a salesperson. They better make sure that she's happy and she's going to come back and she's going to pass the word around to her friends that this boy does a good job, right? So they have to sell their talent now to make money. And that is, it's not only because the situation is like that, the clients are not enough for everybody to feed off, but there is a lot of wage and salary changes happening all over India. I hear different things. Somebody is paying them just a percentage of the total sale. So if somebody is getting 30% of their sale and the sale is as compromised as we know, how are they going to make ends meet, right? So it's not just that they have to get the business back. Now they have to treat it like their own business. They become family members to the business. So that
you're right. We're
is
having
happening a
to.
lot.
We're sensing more of that. So I know even from personal point of view, this whole point, about team really having to work together and support each other. Like, I know you spent 20 years developing the sector, developing your business. You put a lot of hard work. You and Jovan and the team building a nail spa, and now I think your team members and your employees and staff now recognize, okay, so you know what, it's also our turn to give support back and whatever we can to make sure, we get through this phase.
Very true, very true. And they are reaching out. And I'm very happy for those who are with us still. And we're looking after them too. Unfortunately, with the lockdown, with the border being closed, we lost some good staff from Delhi. They couldn't come across. And they're good techs, but as soon as things get back to normal, there's no metro, there's no commuting. So it will take time. It will take time, but yes, those who have hung in there, I really appreciate them. And I think every employer appreciates those who have not run away.
Yeah. And then you were mentioning brands before, so I know there is a distinction between brands and the kind of other manufacturers, but what, at this point in time, what is it that, because clients of the salons will demand more from brands. Brands are also having their own challenge of sustaining the business. But what can we do as a symbiotic relationship between brand and salon and technician? What really can we do? Can you do at this point in time? We were talking more about what brands can do at the moment to support.
Yeah. See, the most important thing that we can offer them is the job opportunity, which is not there right now. So what's the next best? Offer them free education, online education, keep them in a job pool, keep upgrading them, reaching out to those in the villages, like I just told you, just for moral support. Some are in dire straits. They were the first ones to run away, thinking that it's, like they're going to die if they stay here. And now 2 months later, 3 months later, have no money for food. They don't know how to survive. We don't have jobs for them. So I think the brands will have to pump up with education, with job placement. I have to work 10 times harder, reaching out to all India and getting them jobs. Like we have now started to, there's 2 boys flying out, one to Mumbai, one to Pune, so that it's happening. It's happening because Mumbai news came, and so we are getting them on board slowly. But it's not something we can do in a jiffy. It's nothing that we can change. And I feel sorry for them. What else can we do? I mean, the brands can give them free trainings. The brands can give them jobs. The brands can offer them employment as fast as we can. But they have to hang in there as well. you know. But I don't think that the China trader is going to come and do any of that. So this is a wake-up call for everybody out there, the technicians too, because they work with the products. They have a say in what products they order. And if you are going to make a commission out of the boy who's coming to your door and selling your madam 20,000 worth of products and you're making 3,000 out of it, today that man is not there to give you a job.
Yeah, already like how the market how up. I think the next 6 months are going to be pretty difficult for everyone. Just going back to the nail focus, you were mentioning that, for example, in North America, like I know I was chatting to Ankit yesterday, I think actually from Olaplex, and he was saying like in Canada, for example, Canada's not really had to go into a major lockdown, and they've pretty much been able to operate as normal, and salons and nail services are doing great there. In Europe, it's a much more advanced market. So what is that, you've been here long enough now to understand, and you travel so much across Europe, North America. What are the kind of key differences between the nail market in India and overseas? And that's one. And two, what is it going to take to really kind of shift that curve upwards again for people to start using nail services?
The good thing that I hear about Canada is that they did not have a complete lockdown. They had 74 essential services, which they did not shut down, including the public transit, the metros, the TTCs, everything. And that probably did not put a halt on everything. We went into a halt. And then we didn't come out of it. See, 30 days, anybody could take a break for 30 days and come back to their job. That's not a problem. But we went into a very long period. And it's like opening a new business. But the West is also a very solid market for nails. It's 4 decades plus, right? It's part of grooming. It's part of a mandatory thing. They don't think about the salon services and nail services as something that they may want, may have. It's slotted in. This weekend is haircut. This weekend is nails. This weekend is my facial or whatever, or my, Botox or dermabrasion. So everything is scheduled and nothing changes. We don't have that kind of focus on beauty. The women here there are some who are completely scheduled with their beauty services, but a lot of them have other pressures, work pressure, family pressure, lockdown pressure, in-laws pressure, children studying from home pressure. I mean, everything, I can't blame them because I'm not allowed to go to a mall. So how do you blame somebody who cannot get out of their home because the in-laws don't want it? So yes, there is a big difference in India. The Indian market still looks at it as a fashion luxury segment. Nails, they don't look at nails as grooming, but the years of talking, like you said, it's almost 20 years of talking and awareness and traveling every corner of the country. It's like the awareness for nails was not there. The awareness for extensions was not there. Everything was a no, 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 no. I don't want, I don't want, I don't want. So it's taking time, but then this has become like a big roadblock. I think we'll have to just keep on plugging away and make sure that people are aware it's grooming. And I think the women will step out of it. I'm very positive. I don't know why I have that absolute confidence that we are going to get out of it. Yes, it's taking time, but I have a immense confidence. Somehow, it's a gut feeling.
Yeah. Well, I know you've always been a very positive, gung-ho person, and I think to survive in India and do anything in India, you have to. Otherwise, you just get beaten up, by the Indian way of doing things. So I think you have to have that kind of let's just keep going, keep motivating. Otherwise, you go mental here. Otherwise. So while you're listening to my echo, let's move on to more technical questions. We want to go to
you're
like, you know, now.
get beat up is the right word.
Yeah. Let's talk a bit more technical about, you know, some of the nail tools and how nail techs and salons can operate, you know, in this kind of COVID era now. So can you kind of talk about what are the best ways to like disinfect emery boards and buffers for technicians?
Okay. You know, the questions that have come up for COVID, besides the disinfection ones, because we've been hammering disinfection into them, and I will talk about the two important ones you mentioned, because emery boards and buffers is still a very big question mark. But before I go there, I want to quickly talk about something that people are asking me in huge numbers. They want to buy a UVC disinfector machine. Okay, and I want to quickly talk about what is UV, because a lot of people don't understand what is UV. And a lot of people, I don't mean that a lot of people don't know, they may probably know, but this is the time to recall all the training information. So UVA is used in lamps. That's the safe light that we use to cure the gel. That's a UVA, A like apple, okay? Then we have the UVB, B like boy, which is the component of the sunlight that causes the sunburn. So we go out with our shades, with our sunscreen, we are protecting ourselves from UVB rays. Now we're talking about intense source of energy, which is the UVC. It's a potentially harmful light and contains an energy that is downright dangerous. I have to say that, because you must know, if you're buying a machine, you must know how to handle it well and take precautions. So if you're buying a box that has a UVC light, first of all, never ever look into it. It's potentially dangerous, right? So you are going to use it. A lot of vendors, and again, the China trading is happening. I'm getting blasted in WhatsApp. We have this UVC disinfector, disinfect your mobile, disinfect your currency, disinfect your tools in the salon, right? So that's it's a big bluff. If the mobile explodes in there, I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised, right? So let me just read out my notes that I made today. That UVC can quickly and permanently injure your eyes and skin. It is so deadly. That is why it's so deadly, that it kills the pathogens, right? But also it degrades the plastic, paint, carpet, long term. And it is not really recommended for salons, but it is there in salons. People are using them. So I'm not saying don't use it, but know the dangers of it. See, the UVC doesn't work unless it directly exposes all the surfaces. So if I'm going to put the tools in face up, it's only going to disinfect the face up part. Right? Does that make sense? So then you go in and you turn it over, right? And then it's going to work on the other parts. So all the pivot points on the clippers and stuff will be left out if I'm not doing it properly. So I'm not saying don't use it. I'm saying know what you're buying and be careful how we use it, but don't blindly think it's disinfected everything. You put it in, take it out, it's not done, right? So there is besides this, there is the UVC, there is a glass bead disinfector, which somebody called me. He said, I'm using it. It's excellent. Okay. So okay, quickly on the UVC, that there are different kinds of UVC. There is a far UVC. There is a new one which has 222 nanometers. I'm not going to go into the technicality. I've learned too much about it. But I want them to know that I'm saying this because I have done my research, right? The glass bead disinfector, it heats up to 225 degrees centigrade, but it's never been validated. The efficacy has never been validated, right? So I'm just saying, these are your options. We are training you, giving you all the options. You know which is best for you. Before you buy, find out what's best. In my opinion, the glutaraldehyde, or the common terminology Sidex solution, or what we are talking about today is the 10% sodium hypochlorite or the benzalkonium plus alcohol combination. Now these are the easier ones with no side effects. Even a helper in your saloon, even a little pantry boy in your saloon can work it. All you have to do is wash your tools and dunk them in there and wear a glove and remove them after the stipulated time of 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Don't you think that is a lot safer? It's because in North America, it's okay because everybody is literate. They can read English, they can follow instructions. But here, I don't know how many of those boys who are working in the saloons can go in and use the machine or use the other disinfector. So it's my job to make the public aware, and it is their choice to go and buy what they want to buy, right? That's why I said that this session is so important, because we must make them aware.
Where can they find this information from? Because I know obviously you're talking about it here, but is there a place where nail techs and salons can go and find this information quite easily?
I can share information with them, but if you can share my contact information. The reason that is that I do my continued education with the North American gurus. So how much I learn, if I'm sitting for an 8-hour class to understand UV LED lamps, they're not going to want to know that much. No. So I will give them the juice of it. Whatever they have, the questions, I will give them. It's a free education. It's not restricted to anybody. Anybody in India or anywhere can message me, email me, WhatsApp me, call me anytime. I'm more than willing to share. You know, my innate passion for education, it's not about what I get back. It's what gives me the pleasure to upgrade their knowledge from whatever little bit I can share with them.
Mm. And if you could also share some of this afterwards, we'd be happy to, when we do a kind of write-up next week about the sessions, put some of these quick tips. We did that the other day when Sunette was online as well, and Sunette gave some really good tips for nail technicians.
Yes, excellent. She was excellent.
So, yeah, and she's given us an article. So she's written an article as well, which we'll publish, for the community. So if you could, or you can get Joban to do some writing, do some work, then you could have her send it over for you.
Yesterday's session was also superb.
With Tracy, right? Yeah.
Yes, Tracy. Yeah, I'll do that. Definitely do that.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you mentioned some of the other questions that were coming up were including understanding what an acrylic product is and what to look for.
Yes.
So if you could just break down the basics there.
There is there's a lot of ambiguity when it comes to gel and acrylic, because we have two views in India. One is pro acrylic, one is pro gel. Let me make it very clear. Both are great systems to work with. There is nothing wrong with working with either or system. All we need to do is, if I'm going to learn to fly a plane, I better be trained on it. That's all I'm saying. My thing with people think I don't like acrylic. I was trained in acrylic before I was trained on gel. I love acrylic. I would love to work with it in India, but I have some apprehensions which I will share. So it's for them to understand, and maybe they can benefit something, because they might think it's North America. No, there are some things we can share, around the world. Like Tracy from Netherlands, when she was talking about disinfection and protocol. It was so good to hear that we are actually doing a lot of that. So it gives us, a real confidence. That matters a lot. We know we are on the right track, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So the products, what to look for in acrylic is a good question, because since I'm not doing it in India, but I will talk about it. You must look for quality, and again, with the brand comes in. You must go for quality with a brand that guarantees you it's going to be non-allergic, it will not compromise the natural nail, and it will have flexibility, and it will not destroy any part of your natural nail. Acrylic, what do we need in acrylic? We need a very controlled ratio. For those who are working in acrylic and training in acrylic, they know, and we don't want it to go yellow afterwards. And there is a whole a training I used to do, which I don't do anymore, but I don't mind sharing. MMA and EMA, quickly to tell you, MMA is the first acrylic that was introduced in America, and that turned out to be a chemical that was not health and safety friendly. So it got banned many years ago. So methamethyl acrylate was banned, and ethamethyl acrylate, which we call EMA, came into play. So today when you're buying, you must ensure that the brand is selling you EMA. A China brand will sell you MMA because it's not banned in China. It's not banned in India.
Okay.
And why is it that bad? It is just downright dangerous. So no MMA. Okay. Then you need to be sure it's not going to cause any allergies, which again the brand comes into play. Because the brand will sell you a product with an MSDS sheet, which is a material safety data sheet. Nowadays we call it an SDS sheet, just a safety data sheet with every product you buy, it comes with it. What does it say? It tells you these are the chemicals in this product. If you have a challenge or a hazard, it is a safety hazard. If it gets into your eyes, this is what you need to do. This is how you deal with it, right? If you're transporting it, you have to have the hazard sign on the truck, just like the gasoline trucks go, right? So MSDS sheet or the SDS sheet comes from a brand you can trust. Because what I have now found out, and it's happening, that China is sending MSDS sheets to America, to North America, with their products. But when the products are tested in the lab, those chemicals don't exist in the product. It's completely different, right?
Wow, okay.
So these are things that we sitting in India are not aware of, and we need to be aware of, because we are working on people's bodies and their nails and their hands, right? It's a very serious situation. We can't take it lightly, right? For me, that is the most important thing. The monomer and polymer they use, which probably the techs out there will understand what I'm saying, that monomer is the liquid and in acrylic, and the polymer is the powder. But most people don't know the polymer is extracted from the monomer, and there is a marriage. Now, if you're buying the monomer from one brand and you're buying the polymer from another brand, there is no marriage. Things can go wrong. The allergies can happen. The natural nail integrity is compromised, right? So, quickly, I will tell you one thing which is very important, and I thank you for allowing me to say this. I am not against acrylic in India, but the rules to run an acrylic nail shop in North America, in Europe, and I'm sure in South Africa, I've spoken to Sunette about it, you have to have a store. The business license is only given to you if you comply. Now, what are the rules? Your table, your acrylic table, has to have source extraction, which means there is a hole in the table, there is an exhaust fan in the table, right where your client's hand is sitting, and there is a huge pipe going from under the table into a closed bin, into an airtight bin. And you must have high efficiency carbon filters which can suck out all the vapors and the fumes. If you don't have that in North America, in Europe, you cannot offer acrylic services.
Okay.
If the ladies who are doing it here, I'm sure they're doing everything. I'm sure they're taking care of everything. See, we're not centrally air conditioned. We go home, we shut our shop, AC's off. We're not at 20 degrees centigrade all through the year, right? So our product breakdown is far more than in the other countries, right? So the extraction system and the ventilation system is the two important points for anybody who's doing acrylic. Okay.
Right now, you're saying not many people do acrylic in India. It's just
no, they are doing. Lots of them are doing. A lot of them are doing it. That's why I wanted to talk about it. That I am not against acrylic at all. Doing it doesn't mean. No, they do. They do. They are
you're going to do it properly. Yeah.
I want to share that what are the ideal way of doing it in a shop, because it's not about the client. The client will come once in a month. Your techs are sitting there day in, day out. You yourself as an owner are there day in and day out. Aren't you breathing those fumes?
Mm.
So it's not, I love acrylic. The first opportunity I have in India, I will do it. Gel picked up popularity. Gel was never even an option in North America. Gel came very recently. Acrylic is the oldest system, and it can do wonders. It makes beautiful nails. What you can do in acrylic, maybe you will have very little opportunity to do the same in gel, and gel does a lot, but not the same as acrylic. But gel was introduced by FDA to circumvent the problems we were having with MMA, with the natural nails going bad, with the cases coming up, is the reason FDA said there should be an alternate system. So
right.
Gel was born out of that.
Okay.
So the curing with the acrylic is a very good thing. I know all these people probably know it, but I'm just going to make sure that everybody can understand what is very quickly that, it is cured like. See, we have to reach 90% curing, and the 90% curing can be reached within 18 hours, 24 hours, but if it's not used properly, it might take 48 hours. So what these techs are keeping in mind is that they're using the right ratios and using the right proportions, and the full cure should be reached, and that's all. Undercured, when it is too wet and it's undercured, is not a good idea. But this is a very technical terminology which only the acrylic nail technicians will understand what I'm talking about. Okay, but they must know that the half cure is going to lead to problems when those people come back for a refill or whatever, and during that time the wet part, the uncured part, is seeping into their nail, and when they come back and you are going to shave off the top, it's going to be there, right? So I'm not going to go into details. Anybody is welcome to call me. I will explain it to them. I will go into details, and let's not, because we are, we don't have that much time to do a training session, but we will go into details whenever. Maybe Sonette and I can go into just the acrylic class one day or a gel class one day. That would be nice.
That could be an interesting idea. I mean, that's something we could look at putting together. So we could chat offline about that. More kind of the training session for people. Yeah,
a training session, right. So with the gel products, quickly, I'm going to tell you what is it. It's the same thing. You need the quality. You need the brand. You need non-allergy. You need something that won't compromise the natural nail. But the most important thing is look for self-leveling gels. The self-leveling gels is a terminology we use, that when we put it on the nail, it levels itself like it it's something like an ice cube that starts to melt to go around, and you can just quickly control where you want it to go and cure it. If it's not self-leveling, you dump it.
Does it mention it on the bottle itself, on the product? Does it say it's self-leveling or not?
Not always. Not always. Yes, the good brands will mention it. But if you're buying it from a trader, you probably won't see it. Okay. So that's again, I think we're coming up with a lot of things that brands do and the responsibility that we hold and what we should do. It's a good point you've picked on, that it should say self-leveling. The viscosity is very important. Nobody wants to work with a water-like gel because it's hard to control it. It'll run everywhere. And you work with a very thick viscosity, it'll sit like a lump, and you will be working and working and working on it. So yes, these are important. Brushes are important. The fantastic result is a marriage of the best gel with the best brush. So you need to work with the softness. Gel is such a soft, it's like, you know, you just barely touch it with the brush. You just play with it. It's like in the air. So that is a very special brush, right? Again, the MSDS sheets should come with every product that you buy, even if it's a gel. The gel is essentially an acrylic turned into a gel. It's essentially a monomer and a polymer that in the factory has been put through a centrifuge and converted into a gel, because FDA wanted a system that cannot be manipulated by a rookie. A rookie causes problems picking up the liquid and the powder in an acrylic, a wet bead or a dry bead or C-pen or not, whatever. So this is where they came to that this is foolproof. You can't do any harm to anybody. You can just pick it up, put it on the nail. At the most, it's going to be too much or too. But one thing I need to talk about is we are now in the COVID area are doing away with the poofy brush. If I was at the store or at the academy, I would show you what it is. But nail techs know, please do not use the poofy brush anymore. The poofy brush is like much like a brush, a big brush that you use after a haircut on your neck to disperse all the leftover hair, like a big poofy thing.
Yeah.
It's that same brush we use on the nails once we do the prepping for enhancements, for refills. There is a lot of dust because we're using an E-file and there is a dust. So the dust is softly taken off the fingers with that poofy brush. But what is it doing in COVID time? It's in COVID time. Stop using the poofy brush. Just use a normal cleaner brush like a manicure brush. That's an important tip for the COVID times. The gel polishes, essentially, what are you looking for? How many applications in a bottle? One bottle is 1,500, one bottle is 2,000, one bottle is 3,000, one bottle is 500. How many applications per bottle? That's your business cost, your margin. Does it shrink when you cure it? You apply it and it put your hand in the lamp and it the cuticles, it shrinks at the free edge. What a problem. The client is so unhappy. What's this? The edge is not covered. This is covered. Pigment is smooth or patchy. How many coats do you need? Do you need one coat? Do you need two coats? Do you need three coats? So a bottle that's doing less services will need more coats because the pigment is not intense. The bottle that's giving you more applications has better pigment. So your price should vary according to that, right? They see a bottle and they think that all gel bottles are created equal, whether it's an OPI, whether it's an NSG, whether it's IBD, it's anything, they're all created equal, and they pick the cheapest one or they pick the brand they want. But these are the questions to ask. Does it allow color mixing? Today we have to stretch the dollar. We need to know that can we mix different colors to create two colors to create a third color or four colors to create a fifth color, right? So today you must know that. The full cure for gel and the cure time, you must know from the vendor you're buying this is the most important tip for anybody who's using gel today. Make sure that the lamp is supplied by the same vendor who's giving you the gel. Reason being, it's a marriage. I'm going to read out to you the reason, the technical reason. It must be specifically tuned to have the correct wavelengths, and those wavelengths must be emitted at specific intensities, not too little, not too much, and both of these important factors need to be correct in order to ensure a proper cure. So go with the brand that's selling you a system. What is a system? This is the gel, this is the lamp. I guarantee the performance of this gel in this lamp. Anybody who's selling only gel will tell you to use any lamp. Anybody who's selling lamps will tell you to use for any gel. That's not right. Now we're talking all North American licensing, European licensing, and brands and technology. Why do brands not work here? People don't know this. If they knew this, they would go for a brand. If they knew what they're getting into and what harm can come, they would probably. So from our last session with you, I decided that I would bring up brand responsibilities and reasons for people to look for brands rather than do a mix and match, buy a Honda car and put a Maruti spare part. That's not the way to go, right? So don't go with those who are selling half a system. Go with those who are selling a proper system. The proper curing is the key to safety and durability. And get your facts straight and be safe. Safety is a huge issue. Nobody thinks they can do any harm to the nails because they haven't had the lawsuits that North America has had with MMAs. You know? So I will talk about this in the article. But there are lots of things that can go wrong with acrylic and with unsafe use of gel, right? So we must. And with this brings us to education. So tell me, you have a list of questions, but my next would be about education, but you tell me what is on your list.
That was the last one. I know we've got to wrap up soon, but because obviously we've gone through India, role of techs, brand differentiation, or brand versus non-brand, etc. But I think education, whatever segment you're in, hair, makeup, skin, etc. And education plays a big part in the nail community.
I have to answer your question. I'm sorry I missed one question. You asked me about the disinfection of the Emery board and the buffer, right?
Yes.
Quickly, we have three options. We can use disposable, number one. Use the disposable filer and buffer and dump it. The number two, that we can sell. Sonette also spoke about it, and this was taught to me in my school as well, that you can sell the filer and buffer to the client and they bring it every time they come back.
Yeah.
Which will be a hard sell in India. Which may be a hard sell in India. But it's a good idea and I would like to offer it. The third one, which is what we have been doing, essentially what we are doing today in the COVID time and what we were doing before COVID at Nail Spa is only 20% different, and that's just the gown and the shield and nothing else. I haven't adopted, I'm an OCD person. I have adopted it from day one, and only the look and feel, the uniform has changed. But all this we were doing, so how do we do it at Nail Spa? I do not wish to fill the landfills with disposing of these filers and buffers, and no nail tech in India can afford to dump this professional Emery board and buffer after one service because it adds a cost of 200 rupees to the service. And the PPE adds more to the service. So that part in India is not possible right now. So what do? We have 70% IPA, isopropyl alcohol, available at the chemist very easily everywhere in India. 70%. Spray your porous tools, your Emery board and block buffer right after your service is finished. Put it on the side, let it air dry while you clean the table, you clean all the gels and jars and brushes, you clean the chair, you spray the chair, you disinfect everything. This is by far the most viable I found. Yes, there is a filer you get which is a plastic handle, and you peel off.
Hello, sorry, an hour's gone. A 40-minute session ran way over, but
That's okay. I'm glad we ran out of time and not out of questions.
Yeah,
that's the good
it was a
part.
40-minute session. We've already done an hour, but you were just talking about the kind of solution for disinfecting the emery board, etc., and then the alcohol solution that will help. Is that because Sunette didn't really talk about that? So is that because it's different systems over there, where she said don't do that because it's porous? But you're saying in India we can.
She said that, and I believe and I agree with everything. That's my training. But the only challenge is if I'm going to not accept what the nail industry is doing here, they're going to do it anyways. I might as well guide them to do it in the safest way possible. That's my answer.
Okay.
I don't want to fill the landfill sites with all this junk and dump it anywhere. And I've got the authority, and Sonette will know what I'm talking about. I have Doug Schoen's authority. He is our nail guru for the entire world. We both follow him. We both have learned from him, and we are always learning from him. He is a NASA scientist working in the nail industry and covers every question, whether it's chemical related, anything, technical, this UV lamp, everything has come from him. It's what I've studied with him. Okay, so I want to say this, that yes, I will do it. I will support you in India to do it in the safest way possible. And I have Doug Schoen's word on it to go ahead and do what I'm doing. Because he said it's fine as long as they're doing 70% alcohol and they are doing a thorough good job in air drying it between clients, it's fine. Right?
Okay, great. Super. And then
so
before we went back to that, education and why is it important, especially for the nail community, to choose the right education platform?
It's always going to be a tough one for me because of the way I look at education and the way India has viewed education when I came here. Not just, I'm just talking about what I learned from beauty education. I think there are good institutes and there are very good academies out there, and I have a lot of respect for them. Without naming them, they all know which ones they are. But you know, the students coming out of these academies are proclaiming themselves to be gurus, right? They learn to be a nail tech, but they go back home and they put down, I'm a trainer. It's not even like they've got a year's experience to their name.
No, they probably had 1 week's experience.
So I just have to say that my word is not for those big institutes and all. My perception of these people who are going out there and training, and then they are calling me the people who are getting trained, and this has happened in the last 8 months. I have started to record how many people are calling me, where they got trained, and sorry to say that some of them are blaming me for it because they're saying she's your student. I paid her 40,000, she's your student. That is a big problem for me. I did not give her a trainer's certificate. And you know that she's my student. My name is everywhere out there. Pick up the phone and call me. So why I want to talk about education is I don't want these innocent people getting scammed into something. I mean, 30,000, 40,000 is a lot of money. So let's just help those people out there. Nothing against those who are training. Please go ahead and train. You need help, call me. I will, online, I'll help you to conduct your training. And that's the one thing I want to talk about.
Yeah, what should people trying to learn to become nail technicians and move into this segment, you know, or even if it's salons trying to open up nail services, what should they be looking for? with regards
It's
to training and academies?
The question you're asking me is the only way that somebody can find. And now we're going into digital training. I want to let you know that you have gone digital with so much stuff. And I am also working on the digital platform for my training. And I never thought I would do it. I thought I would do a 50-50, but I'm doing so much research now that it's actually going to be launched very soon. I'm going to do a complete digital platform because the whole environment has changed. I'm getting calls for people. So that will be a different thing. How do you select? Let's talk about the traditional way, that training schools and how to select. It has to be a minimum 3 weeks portfolio or a course. 2 weeks, but definitely 3 weeks. I would say for those who want to spend more time, maybe 4 weeks. It's not going to be a weekly charge. I would give that extra time because you need more time. There are people who do need more time. There are some who are educated and some who are grade 8 and some who are MBAs, right? So it's all different case by case. They find out if, I'm saying this, that find out which is the educator who is the most passionate about their trade. Just find out, is there a guru or a teacher or a trainer who loves what they do, who is completely passionate about makeup or completely passionate about nails or completely passionate about hair, right? Like when Sabio talks, you can tell, you know, his passion comes through, right? So we find out, number one, step number one. Then are you passionate enough yourself to come into this industry? Talk to the educator. Find out what is the prerequisite. Are you just looking at going into nail business is the best business, it's small ticket and I can make money, blah, blah, blah? Or are you really passionate about being in the nail industry, right? Ask about the academy that has after sales service. I'm sorry, I'm using a very automobile term, you know, like after sales service. It's not like I've trained you and now you can go do what you want to sink or swim. I have to hold their hand no matter how many times they call me. And I've spoken to clients that they're handling, to home service people, to freelancers who are going home and ma'am, I don't know what's happened. Take a picture, send it to me. I'll tell you what to do. I will give that, and that is what is needed. Right? Don't check off a number that you've trained 100 students and now they can do what they want to and you don't care how their careers are building. Right? Then you do need to spend time with the educator. You do need to track, do research on the educator. What is their track record? Where did they train? Who is their guru? You know, there's something that they say in North America is that you will only learn as much as your educator knows. Right? So find out, where is their knowledge coming from? Right? And then again, the North American thing that you only imbibe or you only take home 50% of what your teacher is giving you. So if you're going into a treasure chest, your 50% is pretty good. If you're just going into a little shoebox, your 50% is very limited, right? So the 50% is also the reason I do the after sales service, because there's a lot of information. They might have missed out something, right? So we have to do that. Where did the guru learn? How many students have they trained to date? How many job placements have they given? Why is this question important? If I am not passionate, my student will not be job ready. If I've given them a job, that says a lot about my education. Somebody has given them employment, that means I made them job ready. The difference between a good nail institution and an average one is giving you job ready grads and the other is giving you half-baked ones who are not able to find a job for the next 6 months. Okay? Then they blame the nail industry. Nails में तो कोई काम नहीं है, nail business में कुछ technicians को लेते ही नहीं है. So you know the industry gets a bad name. It comes back to you. Right? It's a full circle.
Yeah.
You will only learn what your educator knows, because I know that from my trainings with my gurus, I've had so many that they are so passionate. I've learned because of their passion. And their education to me has built my confidence, has given me the passion to go for life. I can relate to each one of them, and each one of them is an amazing person. And that's how you should be able to, reach out to your guru and imbibe from the guru. One important thing in India, and we will always talk about India because what I'm talking is North American, these gurus that I have been to or whatever. People walk into a nail salon and they say, so busy, itna kaam hai, itna busy, ye business to bahut acha chalta hai. Ma'am, can I get training? Sure, you can get training. And you know what the students tell me? We go there, we paid 35,000, we're sitting in a client chair, whichever tech is free, plonks themselves there and tells us what to do. But if there's somebody is teaching them how to apply a tip and there is a client walk in, the owner or manager says, come on, your client is here. These are all first-hand experiences. I have never been there. I don't know. These are experiences of people who come to me and they tell me this is what has happened at so-and-so place. And now what do I do? Where do I go? And we give them upgrade courses. Earlier, we used to do a free training. But in the last 6 years, we decided this is a hoax. Everybody comes and says something about somebody, right? And some of them are my own students. She didn't do a good job. She didn't do a good job. So last 6 years, we've started to charge for upgrade. You should have done your research. Buyer beware. You should have.
Completely true.
Do you agree with that? Yeah.
I do.
So
I think good tips on even.
The products and the technology and the skills are all coming from your educator. She's laying the foundation for you to understand products. We do a whole session on teaching them how to be a smart shopper. If you're in Hong Kong, if you're in Bologna, if you're anywhere, what do you buy? You want to buy nail products? Sure. But what do you buy? What questions do you ask? How do you look at the brand? Right? So I do a whole class personally with them to show them how to do that. Because your foundation of products, technology, skills is coming from that educator. You're literally being born into this industry. The educator is the mother right there for the rest of your life or whatever she's going to teach you, right? You have to overcome their frustrations. They are very frustrated when they come to you if they've had a bad experience. And sometimes they're frustrated because there's a lot of learning. They thought it was an easy thing to do. You watch somebody doing nails, oh, it's very good. Oh, lovely, I can do it. Right?
Yeah.
So details of details come from the educator. I tell them that in my experience, I've learned so much. My technology has changed. I have flip-flopped. I have made mistakes. And I have done so much. I've taken out the juice. I'm serving you the concentrate. If I don't tell you what to avoid, the pitfalls are many. Right? So just blindly follow what I'm training you. That is why the culture of the techs who work with us and who have graduated with us, we never hire from outside. We never ever hire. The culture is different. There is a remarkable difference between these techs and if you go to other nail shops, because we have a brand culture, education culture, social culture, personality development, how to deal with clients, there is a marked difference in their personalities, even though they're coming from the same village, but going to different educators, right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying research, trainer, research track record, ask pertinent question, make a decision, only put out your money when you are 100% satisfied.
Great tip. I think see we have shot over time, but great tips with regards to kind of health and safety, understanding the difference between brands, also the distinction between acrylic, gels, and also education. So a lot of good tips there. We will get Joban to do some weekend homework and help write up some of this stuff for us, because I think it'd be great to also showcase this stuff next week on our, on our website, the differences you're talking about, even the tips on those pros and cons of choosing education as well, because it is really important, because we know that in India
she'll watch your recording and start making notes.
She should know all this stuff. What has she been doing for so many years? I was thinking, as we wrap up, I was thinking maybe Canada did not go on lockdown because Joban's here.
I have to thank everybody. I'm really bad at everybody logging in. I must thank everybody. I'm really bad at that, and I apologize. I love you guys, and I hope we can do real lessons with all the different nail techs, and maybe make that part of a training thing, a free PBI Pro Beauty training.
Yeah, I think we could definitely talk. I'm not sure if Joban was threatening me or we are going to chat, but she said let's talk offline. So I think we'll do that afterwards.
I see her response to you.
So I'm hoping it's not a threat. It's not like a Joban Punjabi girl threat to me. But thank you so much, GS. It's been a pleasure as always. A lot of education, a lot of tips.
Thank you so much. I love chatting with you. I'm so happy you gave me the opportunity to share what I have never been able to share with the rest of India. My students, yes, but never with the rest of India. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
And I think Meena will be happy as well, because Mumbai is opening up finally. So
wait till they open.
All right. Cool. Thanks, Jess.
Thank you. Thank you, Vikas. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.